So this is your boy, Frank the Tank. We're here at Friendsgiving, talking shit. I'm already recording. Fine.
Hey everybody, this is your boy Joey 2 Bananas, and I'm over here with
Frank the Tanky, looking for the blankie because it's getting nice and chilly out here outside in the fire pit.
What the fuck are
pouring
you
up
saying?
my toesies.
All right, we're out in the wilderness right now in front of a fire, warming our feet up. It's a Friendsgiving evening, and we figured we got a bunch of dads here. Let's have a dad table interview.
Quick interview, right? Quick
Yeah,
interview.
yeah. This will be a little bite-sized.
Because our goblins are right there waiting for us to burst through those fucking gates and bother us.
I see them now. They're watching us.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna be passing around the mic, and our buddies will introduce themselves. You might know them by other names. They might go pick their own names. So here we go. Our buddies that we got here tonight. We got El Carpenter. We've talked about him before. We got a Rubber Band Man.
Hello.
And a new entry, Mr. Goodfellas over here. All right, so I got a question. How much input did y'all put into getting these dishes ready for today?
I mean,
my ass was up to like 5 a.m. cooking that lasagna.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I woke
I
up.
fucked up cooking it.
I woke up a little early. I did to make the ham. I mean, ham's not hard to fuck up, but I had to get up and prep it and put it in the oven.
It's kind of hard to fuck up.
Yeah, it is hard to fuck up.
Like,
That's what I'm saying.
You just cannot.
You can't fuck it
Well,
up.
I guess you can if you don't read the instructions.
But I didn't read the instructions. I just kind of winged it. I mean, old white biddies used to make it all the time.
Like, it's not a side of mashed potatoes. It is a whole fucking pineapple ham. That's a lot of responsibility, dude.
Did you just say a whole fucking pineapple ham, El Carpenter? I have never heard anybody call a ham a pineapple ham.
Did you see how much pineapple was on that thing?
Yo, Frank the Tank was throwing away all the pineapple. I was like, yo, what you doing with my cherries and
I'm
pineapple?
disappointed you didn't make it a rum ham. It definitely should have been a rum ham. I'm actually
I was saying rum ham the entire time. But it's like, wait a minute, we got kids eating this shit.
I mean,
When you cook it, it burns off.
I mean, you cook it off.
Yeah.
Last week I did a bourbon maple thing ham last week. That stuff it adds good flavor. I mean, that's about it. But everything else burns awfully. So I mean, unless you're trying,
It gives like a nice,
you were trying for, like,
smoky flavor.
But you know what though? It's like you guys replaced the meals with like quantity over quality. So you guys chose like the bigger portions. Like you made the ham, Matt made the turkey, Joe made the lasagna. We had to compensate for it, so we just went like rapid fire with the sides. So it was like sweet potato casserole, mashed potatoes, Brussels sprouts, to compensate for like, I don't know how much responsibility you guys carried on your shoulders. Because I wouldn't trust myself with ham
You don't trust yourself with meat.
or with pineapple. I don't trust Frankie with pineapples. Go right up his ass.
Pineapples belong up somebody's ass. All right? They got the spines for a reason.
Frank the Tank, you gotta remember, we gotta put this one up.
This is kind of how this is a little bit of the flow, yeah.
A little bit of the flow.
Yeah.
But to be fair though, I mean, because we did like those rapid fire like sides, we woke up pretty late. We woke up like at 9. We were able to tag team it. I don't know if you guys kind of carried the brunt of the responsibility yourselves.
I mean, not necessarily, because like for the turkey it was literally you threw it in the brine yesterday. Well, it was defrosting since Monday. Threw it in the brine yesterday on a Saturday. So by this morning, about 10 o'clock is when it went in the oven.
I mean, wifey was like, okay, so you're making the ham, and I'm going to bring pies from Publix. So wait, I got to do something, and I still got to do something by buying the fucking pies.
I mean,
obviously,
that's what happens when you're the sole income earner. You're still doing everything.
Yeah, basically.
other thing that we did other than turkey was the apple cider vinegar mule thing that Maury decided to make.
Is that what I'm drinking now?
Yeah, it's got the salted caramel whiskey in it. Well, the thing is like Lamari at first was like, hey, why did you put all of it in there? And then she was the first to taste it, and it's like, oh, this tastes great.
She went off on you, bro. It actually got kind of uncomfortable.
She was
you're like a kid, like one of those.
I'm like, what are you talking about? The lady who did it last week was like, they literally put the whole thing in there, and it's like, did you see it? I was like, I was the one who threw the bottle away. Just be advised.
Yeah, man. Like I was up till 5 a.m. last night because I messed up boiling the noodles. I did my count wrong, and so then it took another 2 hours to boil the rest of the noodles.
We're never good at math.
Oh,
I mean, it's not that hard to count pasta noodles.
I think I was tired because I was like, oh, I got my 9 noodles, and I only cooked 6.
Have any of the episodes talked about Joe's perfect SAT score?
I think we mentioned it. Yeah.
Well, it just got mentioned again.
But yeah, so I was up till 5, and the wifey's in bed at like 2, and I'm just like, I'm over here slaving over a stove for this lasagna.
Why did it take so long?
I don't know. It's the noodles weren't boiling fast enough, so when I had to boil extras, it was like 50 minutes, and it didn't even expand all the way it should have.
I mean, when I make a ziti, it only takes me 4 hours to make the sauce.
That's because you got the magic of fingers.
A good fellow over here talking about how he makes noodles so perfect.
This is like, why is it?
And like the sauce only takes about 4 hours.
You just look at the noodles and say, hey,
Hold
come
up.
on now,
Hey.
it's cooking now. Give me the gabagoo.
That gabagoo. That gabagoo. You're like a Family Guy. Bibbidi boobidi. Bibbidi bobbidi. Bibbidi bobbidi bibbidi. I want everybody to notice, though, that he tried putting on an accent for a second, and it went from, like, slightly Italian to Russian to, like, good old boy.
I don't know. I felt a little Mario in there.
It's a me, good fella.
It's me, Chris Pratt.
You know, he didn't do that bad of a job as Mario. Yeah, he didn't do that bad.
I like the soundtrack better.
Him as Garfield is horrible, though.
They have him as Garfield?
He's Garfield. He's the new voice of Garfield.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, it's me, Chris Pratt. I really like lasagna.
Garfield is still running?
Man.
Yeah, they're making a Garfield movie, and it's weird because, like, when I hear Garfield, I think, hey, John, let me get a slice of lasagna. And he's like, hi, I'm Garfield. Watch me eat this lasagna, and if there's kids watching, turn away. This is going to be graphic. And I was like, what? Why does Garfield sound like he took uppers?
He just came out of his depression, that's all. Garfield's having depressed as fuck.
I do have to say, I'm glad I don't have cable because I have not seen that commercial.
Dude, yeah, I didn't know Chris Pratt
I didn't even know there was a
Me neither.
Garfield movie coming out.
I saw that on Twitter, or I guess X.
That sounds like a meme. Like when you go online, you see the memes. It's like, I don't know, like Ryan Gosling is Rosa Parks or whatever.
But you got to give Chris Pratt some credit. He's Mario. He's Garfield. And he was the lead in he's Star-Lord, and then he was lead in a Lego movie.
He's
like the children's hero.
He's
right
not
now.
my Garfield.
Not my Garfield.
Are we going to start a movement here?
Not my Garfield. Well, they gave him a lot of shit when they said he was going to be Mario.
I mean,
And that he did an okay job.
But it's
So-
like, the dude who's doing the Mario voice is like 70 years old now. Like, he can't keep doing it.
Yeah, and you can't have a whole movie of "It's me,
It's
wahoo,
me."
yeah,
Wah,
fuck
wah,
that.
wah, wah.
Wahoo, my father thinks I'm a failure.
I was trying to think of something. My bad. I was trying to think of something in regards to today. You always think it's so funny, like how millennial dads are more involved in the kitchen. You guys notice that?
Oh, yeah.
I look at my dad. He's never done a goddamn thing for the holidays.
I think we touched on
Other
that
than,
once
like,
before.
Moral support and eating. Yeah, real talk though.
Actually, like that's like thinking about it when we're talking about that. Like my dad, like growing up, like for the holidays and everything. Obviously, it was if it was on the grill, of course, it was the dad's.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? But even so, it's like because we did a lot of pasta based stuff, so my dad would help my mom, and like it was weird because it's like I'd never really had that stereotypical where it's like, oh, the mom's in the kitchen all day making turkey dinner or Thanksgiving dinner. It's like it's always been a combined effort between my parents.
Damn, that's awesome, man.
My dad would cook. Once in a while. She did most of the daily meals.
Yeah.
She did most of the daily meals, but my dad would cook curry chicken here and there.
Your dad makes curry chicken?
Your dad has
he's
bomb stuffed peppers too, dude.
Stuffed peppers?
Yeah.
Shit, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I did. One time I went over to your house, your dad was making like stuffed peppers. That shit was delicious.
He grew up in St. Croix, so they got like, I guess he got that recipe from there. It's not a typical Puerto Rican meal.
Your dad grew up in St. Croix?
Yeah.
I would never have guessed that.
No.
That's true.
So he felt the opposite of what black people do here. He was the only light-skinned colored guy there, and he was facing racism as a little kid. They were mean. Every freaking culture is racist. Every culture is racist. It's just it's just ignorance, lack of knowledge, fear. That's all that leads to racism.
Sure.
Same shit.
That motherfucker likes feet.
Hey, wait a minute. Do you remember?
We're getting a Joey Two Bananas confession at the campfire.
Do you remember? It was either you, Ellen Carpenter, or it was Frankie the Tanky over here when we were out in Louisiana for the bachelor party, I think. And one of y'all I was sitting next to, and I was like, "Yo, you ever just sit there and like see a girl in like a sundress, and she got like flip flops, and she kind of like arches the foot, and it's like off the flip flop, and you see the bottom of the foot, and it's just like." That's a whole vibe. You're like, what the fuck?
Was Jared there?
I think it was you, Frankie the Tanky, and you looked at me like, the hell is wrong with you?
I just remember a couple of things from that trip, honestly. I remember Juan farting on a homeless guy. I'll never forget that memory. And then I remember the Uber drive when someone saw a flock of girls. He just went, damn, look at the biddies. And it was just dead silent in the Uber. Like no one responded.
I don't know who would say that, but they sound pretty cool. I mean, who talks about biddies?
I mean, I just said biddies like 10 seconds ago.
But
recording, we can actually confirm that.
To go back to what you were saying, yeah, I feel like, and we kind of touched on this in a previous topic before, but I feel like we get a lot as millennial dads of credit where it feels almost unearned, where it's like, oh my god, you change your child's diapers? It was like my mother one time was like, I never seen a man change a diaper before. It's like they usually stayed away from it. I was like, what are you talking about? Like. It's your child.
No, I agree with that. And speaking from a guy that, hold on, my levels are way too high. Speaking from a guy that with number 1 and number 2, I definitely did my share of the diapers, if not probably a little bit more. But with number 3, I said, nah, fuck that. You could do all the diaper changes. I don't give a shit anymore.
He's like, yeah, fuck that. I ain't a millennial dad no more.
I get it. Because, like, you got to remember, it was different times back then. We like now in these time frames, everybody's doing everything. You got to be able to do everything.
Well, I think part of it that plays into it is that, you know, you don't got stay-at-home moms anymore. Well, I mean,
exactly.
Discounting your situation.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, we had a stay-at-home situation this whole time, you know?
To say, I'm making all the money.
Yeah.
And you have to do your job, and I'll do mine. You take care of the kids.
Right.
But since every home requires 2 people to make money, then you have to break everything in half.
Exactly. It's only natural to take your part of your fair share of it. But speaking from a guy who's been in the situation where I've been the only one making money this whole time, I realized that I was being kind of in a bad position, changing all the diapers, doing all the baby stuff, on top of stressing myself out, getting gray hairs, and fucking killing myself trying to make money and take care of my family at the same time. Like, I gotta admit, it makes me feel a little bit like an asshole with number 3 when the middle of the night comes around, she takes a shit, And I'm like, I just look at wifey over there like, you gonna change this baby or what? And now she's bigger now, so them dumps ain't cute. You know what I mean?
They are not. They're fucking adult-sized dumps.
Exactly. But, like, I get it.
Man.
Like, I understand it, why they did that back then, because your whole job was a family. I'm not saying it was fair, because it wasn't fair, because they didn't have a choice.
I mean, life's not fair, though.
They didn't.
Well, you gotta split the situation the way you can.
They didn't have a choice, but if you're trying, like, should you be able to do everything? Yes. You should, as a man, as a millennial father, be able to pick up all the slack if necessary, but you shouldn't put yourself in that situation because you will kill yourself otherwise. You'll end up being in the worst situation if you take on all that responsibility and then some. That's my opinion on that, at least.
Yeah, you're right, and I think it goes back to the fact that you're not meant to raise kids alone. Like,
exactly.
You need. I think we've touched on it in a previous episode. Like, you need the feminine and the masculine energy to everything, right? So yeah, the guys didn't used to do it back in the day, but that's because they were working and the wife was at home all day. So you did that.
They could afford to.
They could afford
a stronger
to.
economy. So as the economy weakens, everyone has to do more work.
Right.
So guys are doing women's work, women's are doing guys' work. Everything's more equal, but it's almost like it was part of, whole times changing and economy and culture. It's like, it kind of makes sense the more you think about it, based on the relativity of the circumstance, the situation.
Yeah, it's that time for that now, It makes sense with the times that we're in.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something else, Carpenter?
Yeah, no, I was just kind of reflecting on it. Sometimes I kind of forget that division or that shared work or that split effort is necessary. Like, I know there are times where I feel like super burnt out and exhausted.
Yeah.
And I'll like take for granted everything my wife has done. So I'll just be like, come on, dude, you get up and, like, if the baby's crying in the morning, it's like, you get up and take care of her. Like, I've done this, and that. But then, like, I get schooled right away. It's like, how the fuck are you going to say that when I've done this, and that? I'm just like, fuck, you're right. I completely forgot. My own burnout got in the way of how split everything really is. And I'm like, I take that shit for granted sometimes.
There's a certain amount of work that needs to be done, and there's two people to get it done. That's all it really comes down to. And like, and in our age group, a lot of men, women, everybody's starting to think that way. Like, really, you just got to get shit done. That's it. And anybody can do the work. Just because wifey handles the diaper changes doesn't mean that I expect it because I'm the man and you're the woman and you have to do the diaper changes.
Frankie the Tanky, it looks like your feet are turning into hams, bro. You might want to take them out the fire.
But I like them nice and toasty.
Is that where the glaze is coming from? That's that smell?
Yeah.
Now, perfect that I got texted by my wife as we're having this little podcast about millennials. She says, your daughter needs her diaper changed. I did the last one.
Your turn.
About 5 minutes ago.
Oh, you in the doghouse.
That's literally how my two went. It's just like, hey, I did the last three. You go do this one. And it's like, I mean, that, like what you guys have been saying. That's just the way it is.
It's almost unfair to the couples that the economy's in such a way that you need both parents working, because whether it's the man or the woman, you need somebody to devote the majority of their time to make the house work, right?
Yeah.
When you're not,
Messed up house.
yeah. I mean, we were
house, everything everywhere. And then you're like sitting there figuring out, oh, what am I going to do for dinner for this week? Guess it's running to Publix. That's 5 minutes away. Let's go
Lemon
get some
pepper chicken.
You got that? Oh, well, let's hit the McDonald's. Like, all quick stuff, man. It's just like, honestly, it's just because of the way things are, home cooked meals are few and far between almost.
Dude, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not only,
Having a Friendsgiving where everybody brought something to where everybody made something, it's great.
Yeah.
It was great.
It feels different.
It's just like, oh my god, it's not deep fried.
Shout out to Publix.
well, what's
If you want to be a sponsor.
I love your guys' subs so much. If you're listening,
a pub sub chicken tender on the chicken tender day.
um, You know what's really funny though? It's like
That wasn't a commercial plug, by the way.
Right. No, speaking of like the whole notion of having to take care of the house and having someone to take care of the house, like because our effort with child rearing gets split up so much, I always feel like I'm lacking in the home maintenance department. Like I always see like that the dads have always been like handy people who can like fix a leak like it's nothing and kind of know how to fix cars and do whatever it takes to maintain a house, whereas I'm kind of like still severely lacking in that area where I'm like, thank God I have YouTube where I can look up a tutorial because otherwise I'd be completely bummed.
Yep.
I mean, let's face it. What did we talk about for the first 30 minutes when everybody was started coming over?
Our lawns.
Our lawns. Like,
Oh, yeah, that's
the
true.
lawn
Yeah.
looks like crap. I just had to go through. And
What
do
is that,
two-
Bermuda grass, bro?
I had to do 2 applications of weed killer just to get rid of that spurge.
Just do like your boy Frankie the Tanky and leave shit broken.
Let's not talk about that because we already talked about how you have like a piece of porcelain that could slice a hand off in your bathroom.
I'd rather leave things broken than have another man come and fix that shit.
I think we're just going to end up raiding his house. Just to, it's like, let's show up with what is broken in your house. Like, let's get a list and just raid his house. Like, flip his house. And it's not going to be like a renovation. It's just going to go through and fix everything that's broken.
I mean, inviting another man to fix your pipes is kind of fruity.
Meanwhile, Frankie the Tanky over here is talking all this shit. But when we were at El Carpenter's house over here for a birthday party, we're sitting out back and he's looking up at the wall and he was like, "Your paint's bubbling. You got an issue there." He's pointing out every single thing wrong with your house. Like, bro, you don't even fix the stuff in your house.
That was not me.
You should have looked at the neighbor's house. Have you seen how bad that paint?
That was not me.
yeah,
That
no.
was you.
That does sound like Joe a little bit.
No, I think that was actually me. I pointed it out to somebody and then they pointed it out to him.
Oh, that was you. I pointed it out.
Regardless of who it was, that means all 3 of you motherfuckers were judging my house. At some point, whether or not you voiced it was different.
I mean, let's be honest. We were all talking about his grass when we pulled up.
I mean, if you really want to go point something out, you can walk down this and see this trench over here or all the cracks in my stucco if you're
I will have you know that we got our house taken care of. And so it's
Game over. The children are here.
Yes. We're going to have to cut this whole segment out now. Don't.
one of the children is here
Great.
asking to roast marshmallows, but it's not time to roast marshmallows, man.
This is man time. We don't roast marshmallows.
It's time to roast these fucking wifeys.
I'm gonna give my deep dark secret. Over the summer, I got tired of mowing the lawn. We hired a service.
Trash.
Well, but let's be for
Fucking
real.
trash.
Getting a service, it frees up so much time for like how much you have to pay for it. They're supposed to be able. They're supposed to take care of like the weed and feed and all this other crap. So it's like
Yeah.
I've been debating it because like let's talk about the price point I paid for all this stuff in my garage just to have a lawn that looks like it's dead.
Yeah, just for it to sit there and to not be effective, for
It's
ants
all
and shit to
working.
still be in there.
Like, I even went to this like do-it-yourself lawn place and like had my soil tested and got this plan, followed the plan, and you know, eventually it was better just to get rid of half my backyard.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Goodfellas, second son over here, tree trunk legs, came out. Kid looks like he was built out of logs. So fucking sturdy.
He's the second one that's gonna, you know, probably take a bunch of girls.
Send that kid to the NFL. he's gonna be big like Thor Bjorgensen's son.
Didn't we bring this guy up last time and we couldn't get his name right?
Anyway, we did have a question we wanted to ask everybody, right?
Did we?
Yes, we did.
I think that we were talking about Friendsgiving.
We got off on a bunch of tangents. Ooh, this is weird. I'm the one bringing us back to the topic.
Yeah,
Ooh,
this is awful.
I don't
Wait,
like
are you
that.
talking about the guilt that we were talking about inside?
No.
Co-sign on this.
Just
tangent.
a quick synopsis on how you feel being a dad and
Oh yeah. That was originally the plan to do that. Yeah.
because these guys are getting antsy. I hear Goodfellas' wife over there yelling up a fucking storm.
you know what? Let's channel our inner like greatest generation boomers and be like, no, you gonna watch the kids and we gonna be men and
listen, I'm trying to get laid at some point this week.
And then I'm gonna get. It's gonna be like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna end up dead.
How quickly that changed when you hear the yell.
I'm just gonna end up dead.
All right. Well, so
Listen,
you know,
I'm
Frankie the Tanky
I'm
and
trying
I
to slap
have
some cheeks at some point this week. So
before the children come out here and
and ruin everything,
enhance our evening. Frankie the Tanky and I have discussed our thoughts on this. So, how about we start clockwise? El Carpenter, tell us, you know, how it is being a dad, how it's changed. You know, you're the second youngest dad here, newest dad.
I don't know. Answering seriously and as on the spot as I can, I would probably say that the biggest change has been kind of like being less scatterbrained about everything. I'm pretty disorganized for the most part, but having a kid kind of like reprioritizes you. So like now everything revolves around them. So it's not kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to work out just kind of when I feel like it or blah, blah, blah. Now it's kind of like I wake up and it's like I got to make sure everything gets done with the kid first, and then I can structure my day accordingly. So I guess it gives me a bigger sense of, or a more complete sense of structure and organization would be the first benefit. But I would be completely lying if I said that it wasn't exhausting, because that shit is fucking exhausting. It's like you hit the ground running every fucking day, dude. As soon as you wake up, it's like go, 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 go.
It's like the kids out of bed and start running.
Yeah, oh my
You should
god.
rephrase that. It's not as soon as you wake up, it's as soon as you're woken up.
Yeah, as soon as you're woken up.
100%.
Yeah, big facts. Irrefutable
Correct.
facts.
Yes,
So,
that's definitely
yeah.
the truth right there.
Yeah. Dude, to summarize as best as I heard, there's a buddy of mine that I train with, this Asian dude named Nate, who's a pretty cool guy. It's as tough as it is rewarding. And that's the best way I've ever heard anyone summarize it.
That's a good one. I'll pass to him. Rubber Band Man, you want to speak on it?
I'm still waiting for the reward part.
Rubber Band Man here, brand new. Yeah, Rubber Band Man here's got a daughter. She just started walking.
16 months.
Yeah.
So I'm still in shock, right? I don't know. Everything's changed.
Still dealing with your life being ruined, all that shit. Yeah.
I feel like, well, damn. Every day, just wish I was like 2 years ago.
But you appreciate having your
Yeah,
daughter, right?
but you can't go back in time, so you can only march forward.
Yeah, I wish it was 3 years ago. 18 years.
Kind of.
19.
That's kind of the truth. You're absolutely right about having to plan your day.
Yeah.
You can't really just get an idea and do it. You're always, it's either work or relationship or child. You know, you don't always get that free time on top of something that would just come out of the moment, like a workout or, you know, a trip somewhere to like Boardwalk Bowl or something like that. That's all I got from now.
Thank you for that. All right. Mr. Goodfellas himself.
Mr. Goodfellas over here.
I mean, I don't do spur of the moment stuff like workout as my body says. I mean,
Don't worry about it, man.
to be honest,
He's on steroids. He doesn't need to work out. He's fucking jacked.
to be honest, like I before my eldest was born, it's like I had to leave a job to start a family. But like that was the thing, is the wife and I had always had planned starting the kids and everything. So everything kind of turned out the way we wanted it to. So it's like a lot of the spur of the moment stuff when they're young, it's really hard to do, like what you guys are saying. But for us, it's like, because they're 6 and 3 now, it's kind of a little bit easier. And there's only 2 instead of 17. Mr. Frank the Tank. So it's a little bit easier to just do like something. Hey, let's go to this place and let's go to the theme parks and see what we can do and all this other stuff. So I mean, overall, it's like the kids, it's a love-hate relationship, just any other relationship that you go. It's just like, why the hell are you waking me up at 6:30 in the morning? And then like home automation has saved my life a little bit too, because I can just go, hey, turn the fucking TV down, and it turns it down.
Get out of here. But you're not.
I don't have to try to get the kids to turn it down.
But you're not worried about the robot overlords taking over?
I mean, if you really want to talk about robot overlords, my kids are going to hate me just because of what I do. I mean, that too. I mean, for what I do for a career, they're already going to hate me because I already have a lot of stuff in place that if I wanted to, I could just cut all of internet off in my house. No. And I've done that. Like, my eldest has gotten in trouble. Like, I'm trying not to name drop. My eldest has gotten in trouble, and like, he pissed me off so much that I just said, hey, this device no longer gets internet. Yeah. And it was the main TV. Like, I was just like, our main TV no longer gets internet. And that's how well, no, it's a device in my firewall. Oh. So I can go into my firewall and be like, all right, this device is done. Like, you get nothing. Turned off the internet and everything. And then like, instantly the next morning, I hated myself for that.
You know what though? The times have made us softer, because like 50 years ago, that kid would have gotten 40 lashes. rather than getting your TV disconnected from the internet.
Honestly, like the little one, the 3-year-old, he's the one who's starting to get to the point to where it's like, all right, spankings are no longer working.
They don't work.
So we're moving from hand.
You gotta go after their stuff.
But no, it's like spankings aren't working, and like even if I take his stuff away, like he's just that big of an asshole. Yeah. That he doesn't care.
Why is it always the second kid that's like that?
I mean, when the daycare is like, hey, he's throwing chairs. But it really wasn't throwing chairs. Oh shit.
Let's wrap up, guys. They open the door. Right. The kids are gonna flood through.
All right. But I mean, here, hold on. But I mean, like I said, is overall the greatest thing is like that I could say is being a dad is awesome. Like, you just have to wait a little bit, get past the little craziness of the younger ones. But like when they're 6 and 3, like what they are now, it's great. I love it.
Yeah. No,
but
yeah,
I will not do a third.
Yeah, I will say.
You're not gonna do a third?
I want 5.
The reason it's right now, it's just you have to watch her every single moment, because she can kill herself or destroy anything. You don't like 2 minutes. If you look away for 30 seconds, she's like around the kitchen, like trying to grab knives or some shit like that. I mean,
the stress is definitely there because like, so there was an instance, I'll end my talking on this one. There was an instance where we were like, hey, just watch your baby brother for a minute, turned around. And then when we turned around the next second, baby brother was on the floor from the bed. And it's like, oh, what just happened? And it's like, you can't put that kind of expectations on kids and stuff. So
the stress is always going to be there, though. And what I've noticed is it just doesn't go away. It just kind of transmutates into the next thing, right? Because when you're a baby, they start like crawling, and that's a big stressor. But then they start walking, and then that's like a new set of problems. And then they start opening doors, and that's another set of problems. And the way it's looking, it's going to be like that well into their teens, where it's never going to end. It's just going to change forms.
Even after that, though, like you go from the teens, like then they're going to start driving, then they're going to start like going out on their own, and you're like, what the? Especially with like everything that's going on in the world, how everything is interconnected now, and how much is in the news. Like everybody's aware of what's going on.
Right, and think about how much some of our parents worry about us. That shit doesn't stop. Or our siblings. And some of us have older siblings, and you talk to your parents and you're like, your sister or your brother is fucking up, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, fuck, man, this is what I signed up for.
Yeah.
I mean, that's totally true.
The rest of our lives worrying about somebody who is going to be mad at us most of the time.
I mean, but then you think about it, it's like your parents worry about you up until a certain age, and then now it's going to flip on you. You're going to have to start worrying about your parents. And it's getting real close. Like, I already have to start worrying about my grandma because, yeah. So, I mean, it gets to that point. It's like at some point, this is why it's good to be good to your kids, because eventually they got to take care of your dumb ass.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, playing devil's advocate, right? Because I don't want to pin out parenthood to be all that bad, right? The kids do make you more ambitious. You want to accomplish more in life just to make sure that they're well off, and that in turn kind of makes you a better person.
That's kind of what I wanted to touch on before we end, is that, like, even though it's given us gray hairs, made us lose hair, made us gain bellies and lose bellies, all from the stress.
Work is giving me the gray hair.
But, you know,
I don't know anyone who's lost the belly.
I feel like as much stress as they bring into my life, that I look at them and I can be having the worst day. I could just have gotten chewed out at work. Somebody made a $20,000 mistake, this, that, or another. And then, you know, my oldest comes in and goes, Daddy, can I tell you a story? I saw ghosts and they were flying up the stairs. And I'm just like,
Holy shit,
yeah, I'm
run
better.
away.
I feel better. I feel better. I don't care what you said. I feel better.
It's great depending on the test scores my kid brings home.
Now my daughter cracks me up. She's starting to develop her little sense of humor. So now it's really funny. Yeah.
The random stories between either, like, the kids, they'll come up with random stories. Like, even the 6-year-old, like, he still comes up with some off-the-wall things. Like, you know, you told me this, and I was like, in what world did I say that?
I feel like blips of time where I feel like I'm doing a good job. I was getting her ready yesterday, and I don't know, where she just quoted Shrek. she was just getting, like, picking an outfit, and out of nowhere she's just like, ogres are like onions. Just like
You
that.
have trained her well.
I had to, like, stop and, like, look at her. I was like, what did you say? She's like, ogres are like onions. I was like, holy shit! Fuck.
Alright, we keep saying this, but the wives are about to murder us.
Yeah, they are. All right.
This happens every time.
So,
All right, well, I guess we'll wrap it up then. Just
Yeah.
essentially, you know,
Or not.
it was nice.
On the way.
It was nice to have kids, and it's stressful, but we love it, you know. Frank the Tank, you got anything else to add?
no, man, just, you know, put a fucking condom on until you're ready to deal with this shit. And that's all I got to say. Yo,
Comes from the man who can't pull out of his own driveway.
it's from a man who hasn't used a condom in at least 20 years. Anyway.
El Carpenter, Rubber Band Man. Mr. Goodfellas, we appreciate you guys, and this has been a High Podcast.
I'm Dad.